Michael.
Here I am.
Ooh, I like you. I like you.
I like you too.
Man, Kiki, you can let it roll.
Okay.
Like seriously, Sebastian Michael, dude, your vibe, your song Exit, it's a vibe. And
Thank you.
we play it a lot on
I appreciate
V103.
that.
But hold on, man, this is the part that's gonna like blow you.
Okay.
My mom is a senior citizen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we in the little drive-through the other day. Exit comes on V103. She's in the back seat. She's on some. Wait, turn that up. Turn that up. Who's that? I was like, Mom, that's a new artist that we're playing on V103. You're not a new artist, but you're new to V103. Sebastian Mikael. She's like, oh yeah, you need to turn that up. I said, I'll actually be interviewing him in a couple days. She was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to see the interview. My mom, who's a senior citizen.
That made my day. That made my day. I'm not gonna lie.
Ladies
That's
vibing
amazing.
with you.
That's amazing.
No,
I'm doing something right.
Yes, you definitely are. Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, man.
Likewise.
I'm feeling your whole, everything about you is like seriously a vibe. Like your style, the way you sound, that song, every time we play it, I'm like, woo, love it. But you know what? You're not new to music. You've been doing this for a minute.
Yeah.
What? First started, 2013-ish?
Yeah, 2013 was when I really started. Really 2011, but 2013 was when I guess professionally or like really get out there. But yeah, it's been a journey for sure. It's been a journey.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. So you were influenced. I read that your dad had a pretty expansive album collection, and you were kind of influenced by some of the music that he played. What were some of the artists that he was playing?
Well, actually, both my parents, but my dad had the record collection. My mom was just more the spokesperson for every artist that she liked. Whoever she spoke highly of, I would automatically, think the same way of them. It was like whatever my mom did, I would also do or think. You know what I mean? But my dad was the one with the collection, and I would just go through his records, and I mean, it'd be everything from Led Zeppelin to Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye and George Clinton. I mean, it was crazy. It was like so many different things, and that kind of shaped my broadness. You know what I mean? Just like having a lot of different, or listening to a lot of different styles of music, and seeing the correlation between things too. Though, like I think as a kid, like you don't really care what other people think. You know what I'm saying? Like I like this. Like I don't care if it's country or rock or whatever the case may be. It's like, I like this. Like this feels good,
And at the end of the day, music is universal. You know what I mean? People feel like, okay, because you're a certain ethnicity, you got to listen to hip hop or urban music. No, it's not like that at all. Music is music. It calms, it soothes the soul, and it's a universal language. So I feel that all day long. I mean, I grew up listening to Zeppelin and AC/DC and all of that stuff too. So
too, right.
I get it 100%. I get it. Now, your father Swedish and mom Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a nice mix. So, did you ever live in Sweden at any time, or?
Yeah, I grew up there. I was born and raised.
You actually grew there? Okay.
Born and raised there. Came when I was 17, and pretty much started getting into music, and really beats were the first thing. I started making beats, and was trying to write and stuff like that. I couldn't write though. It was more just about making beats and trying to sing, just trying to do different things, and like just being passionate and loving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you write all of your music, or just some of it, or
no?
You write?
Yeah, I write my own music. I also work with other people. One of the other songwriters that I work with, his name is Najee, and me and him, we're I've known him since like he was in high school. You know what I mean? Or just getting out of high school, and me and him kind of built this sound, I guess. You know what I mean? His own music kind of complements what I do as well, but he got his own thing or whatever. But me and him write together too. a lot.
Okay.
But as far as just like being the brain behind it and um, just knowing what I want and what I want to talk about, like that's all me, you know.
Okay, who are some of the I know you said you listen to all types of genres of music over the
Yeah.
years, but who are some that really stand out? Who are some of those that are really like, ooh, like that's my fave or that's a big influence in my life? Who would that
Mhm.
be?
Uh, I, I think Marvin Gaye is probably the biggest. Um, Prince, I think Prince and Marvin are
Ah,
like toe to toe.
yes,
They're
yes,
definitely two of my
yeah.
biggest influences, and you know, I would have to say D'Angelo and Erica Badu,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
Mm,
You've got that whole, what is it, Afro-futuristic vibe going.
yes, yes, the
Love it.
Afrofuturistic. I mean,
Yes.
Parliament Funkadelic. You know, that was George Clinton. You know, that was one of my dad's favorite, you know, people. So he
Mm-hmm.
put me on him early on. I'm like, who is this man? Like, this next level. I couldn't really get into it as a kid, but then
Mm-hmm.
he just looked so intriguing to me that like later on, when I would hear his name and like, because I always knew like, oh, he's my dad would tell me like he invented funk or he was the godfather of funk.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
yeah, so I would always believe that. So I knew like I held him at a high like pedestal, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But later on when I got into it, like that also became a big influence on my music and the futuristic part, the you know, all of that stuff really came from him, to be honest.
Yeah. What is your creative inspiration? Like, what inspires you when you go into the bedroom or wherever you go to write your music?
Hmm.
What's the one thing that when you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this next song and it's going to be this? Is it something personal that you've gone through in life? Is it just something you see while scrolling down a timeline on social media? What
Mm,
inspires you?
definitely life, you know, experiences,
Mhm.
things that I go through. I think it becomes therapeutic, you know, when you write and you talk about the things that you've experienced. And
Yeah.
um, I guess, you know, for me, it's like all about, you know, finding the solution. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like whatever I went through, I can talk about it, but I have to feel like I have a solution for it. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna vent about everything that I'm going through or what I'm not feeling, or just like, to me, like I can't really write. I can write first of all when I'm angry. I can write
Oh,
if I'm frustrated. Actually, I can write when I'm angry, but I can't record. So I
okay.
might just like write down a bunch of thoughts and things however I feel, you know, and then whenever I create, either I look back at those notes or I just,
Mhm.
or it might still be in my head.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, for me, it's like just getting inspired by life and my experiences and uh, yeah, even other people too. You know, just seeing, learning from other people and things like that.
Yeah. Do you ever write with other people in mind, though? Like, say, for instance, a lot of people write about relationships, if you will. And
Mhm.
I know your song Exit, that's like a true story song, right?
Yeah.
About a relationship that
Mhm,
didn't
about my
quite make it.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we broke up at one point and we're back together now. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm such a
It
believer of love. I
yes.
love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So
Invite me
yeah,
to the wedding, Sebastian.
I will. I got you.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so happy for you about that. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes when you're dealing with things in your own life, you know that there's 10,000 other people who are dealing
Mhm.
with that same issue. Same here
Yeah,
when I'm, in the studio on the radio. If I'm
right.
going through something in life, I may make that a topic. It's
Mhm.
therapeutic.
It
You have
is.
other people calling in saying, oh my gosh, B, I went through that last week or I
Right.
went through that last year. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So some of your music is based on the experiences of yourself, but
Yeah.
it translates to thousands of other people too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I guess some people use social media for that, where they
Hmm.
go on social media and vent and just talk about what they're going through, and other people are kind of, you know, just being there for them. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that could be therapeutic as well. For me,
Yeah.
social media was never that outlet for me. music, just writing and creating was the outlet for me. So I actually used that just for the records. So I always say, you know, you go on social media, you'll see people who put their personal lives on social media and people feel like they really, really know them. But then when you listen to the music, it's very shallow. It just doesn't have the
Yep.
same substance. But then I'm kind of like the opposite, where I'm not gonna. I'm a more reserved, private person, so you're not gonna see
Yeah,
everything on my
I
social
get it.
media. But
Yes.
you'll hear it in my
Same.
music, though. You'll
Same.
hear it in the
Yep.
music for sure.
Same. Yeah, your music is about overcoming addiction,
Hmm.
living in a toxic lifestyle, and not necessarily just about relationships.
Yeah,
You know, not to really delve too deep into it, but you really have a story to tell. You had some setbacks throughout your career, but look at you now. You're back
yeah.
at it. You are,
Hmm.
and this is a quote that I got when doing a little research on you. You say, a regular kid who followed his dreams and stuck with it.
Hmm.
And here you are now, successful. Not
Yeah,
saying that you weren't back then, but you know, you went through a little bit to grow,
yeah,
and look at the finished project.
yeah.
Your product. You're on your way. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
For sure.
So can you just expound on that just a little bit? There may be someone watching this who's going through what you've been through already. How can you
Yeah.
encourage that person?
Uh, you know, it's tough when you're in it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? To like kind of receive, or to look outside of that and be able to zoom out and see the bigger picture. But zooming out is a big part of it. You know, you gotta. I personally just my faith was what kept me. You know what I mean? Kept me
Yeah.
going, and just believing that this is my purpose. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to do this. I wouldn't be here and going through this all now. Like there's a purpose for this. You know what I mean? Just believing that and pushing, um, and just not giving up. You know, that's all it is. It's like we're all the same. You know what I mean? No one is special. No one is more gifted than anybody else. It's just like some people hone in more and
Mhm.
spend more time like working on their crafts. And hard work is going to pay off. That's
Yeah,
just the way it is. So
basically. Yep.
yeah, you got to just have faith that you're going to be fine, and nothing is the end all be all, and you got to just like keep pushing and yeah, just never
Talk
give up.
about talk about the song Exit. It was but it has a happy ending, but it
Hmm.
was about a relationship that didn't quite work out. Again, when I play that song, people just have a fit. It's just dope. Just the whole musicality of it, the content, the lyrical content. It's a
Hmm.
good song. It's really a good song.
Thank you for sure. Well, that song was written by me and Najee, and we it was pure. Like it felt like me and him were good friends. I mean, we're still cool. We're
Mhm.
still friends, but we were really at the time really super close, and I would tell him about it. He knows my girl too, so I would tell him about everything that I was going through, and just those conversations really just created the song. Like
Yeah.
once we started coming up with melodies and just vibing, like everything just came together really.
Mm. Good
So
stuff. What are your
yeah.
music goals? What is it that you ultimately want to do in this industry now that you're deep in it?
Mm,
I know you probably, want to win the Grammys and walk the red carpet and
yeah, all of
some of
that. I
that
mean,
fancy stuff
for
that most
sure. Yeah,
artists dream about.
exactly. You want the fancy stuff, but you also want personal success and happiness. You know what I mean? And um peace,
Yeah.
like things that we might take for granted, but in the great, you know, in the bigger realm of things, like we need to have that in order for us to keep going and to be able to sustain ourselves and in what we're doing. So realizing that and working more on myself as well as I'm working on my craft and my career, also working on myself and making sure I'm good spiritually and mentally and
Yeah.
physically and everything.
Any other things that you want to branch off into? You do have something with a fashion brand or fashion line or something like that?
Well, actually, my EP, the ICU See Me EP, that name was a brand that me and my boy had, and when he passed, I decided to use that because we couldn't, keep going with the brand. So I decided to use that name as the title of my EP because I felt it was fitting because I was working on that EP when he passed, and this is this was my partner. We started everything together, me and him. So that really was a life-changing moment for me. So uh, so that's how that correlates, being starting off as being a fashion brand and turned into the title for the EP. And I mean, that was to honor him, and
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
dedicate it to him. But yeah, fashion though obviously is a big part of what I do, as far as just like me being passionate about it. And I don't design or anything. I'm not gonna say that I've been designing or anything like that, but
Mhm.
I'm really it goes hand in hand for me.
Yeah, I
It's
knew you
like
had that style when I first saw you. I was like, okay, style is crazy. Yeah, yeah, it's
thank you.
dope, 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 dope. Well, I am so happy for you. Like I mentioned, you had a couple setbacks, but you are still on track and you are moving forward. And I absolutely admire that about you, especially in this industry where there's so
Yeah.
much coming at you in all directions.
Mhm.
And the bottom line is to succeed. And I wish
Right.
you the best, the biggest success in all that you do. When this pandemic is gone, you come into Chicago to
You already
tour,
know I'm
jump
coming to
on somebody's
Chicago.
stage.
Listen,
Okay.
that is one of my first. Hopefully,
Okay.
that was one of my first shows because I love performing in Chicago. It's always love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Can't wait to see you.
Thank you.
Sebastian Mikael, that new single Exit, man. It's a vibe, boy. It's a vibe. Thank you so much for spending time to talk to
Of
me and letting us
course.
get to know you a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Now look me up when you
Love.
come through Chicago, okay?
I will. You
All right.
already.
Much love to you.
Much love.